Why semen retention is the key to higher consciousness. Over the past century, societal norms have evolved as humans enter an age of equality and prosperity. But it can be said our newfound level of collective insight has had an adverse effect in some regards, as we now associate several aspects of our being with degenerative means. This has led to a world which typically associates masculinity with sexual prowess and daily ejaculation, often disregarding the physical and spiritual implications that can have on a man. However, according to ancient teachers, by refraining from daily masturbation, men can unlock the keys to a higher level of consciousness. You see, semen retention can be used as a superpower that not only elevates our physical well-being, but also helps us grow spiritually. Imagine what's possible if men came to know the true power and harnessed the dormant energy that lies within. This force is so potent that it has the potential to create life, lead to a better understanding of the universe, and lead us to enlightenment. Join us in this video as we investigate the spiritual potential of semen retention and how it can genuinely transform your life. From increased mental clarity to emotional stability and even spiritual enlightenment, come along as we aim to show you how powerful this ancient practice really is. Part 1. Humans have become overly sexualized in the modern era. In the modern era, society has become thoroughly hyper-sexualized due to the ever-increasing number of online platforms offering explicit content. Men have become slaves to pornographic videos, ejaculating most days in hopes of attaining a short-term release from their stressful lives. However, few are aware of the long-term implications of daily masturbation. Just for a moment, let's imagine that men possessed a superpower that was so formidable it could totally change their lives. But instead of harnessing this potent force, they simply flush it down the toilet. Well, this is precisely what men do each and every time they masturbate. The life force energy contained within us is squandered each time men engage in this act, and all for a split second of pleasure. You see, masturbation isn't just a harmless habit, it can genuinely affect your physical and spiritual growth on Earth. We don't say this to upset those who regularly masturbate, but knowing the effects of our actions can lead to personal development, as true growth awaits all of those brave enough to go beyond their comfort zone. We advise you to take a second and ask yourself one simple question. Are you living up to your true potential as a man? Not by the standards placed upon you by society, but by what you know inherently, which is often backed by the writings of ancient teachers. Are you energized? Can you hold your focus? How is your spiritual connection to the world and universe? Because if you reply with a negative answer to all of these, then the few minor moments of pleasure are certainly not worth it. But we have an answer for you, and it begins with putting a stop to the frequent masturbation. The ancient practice of semen retention can help all men harness their true potential. By choosing to conserve our sexual energy, we can use it as a conduit to tap into a hidden source of power most men never knew existed. In doing so, we can transform every aspect of our lives. From an increased feeling of vitality to our emotional well-being and numerous mental aspects, men can become the greatest version of themselves, and it all begins with halting masturbation. But this revered practice is not some form of spiritual woo-woo. Instead, the benefits associated with the art of semen retention have been extensively backed up by science. Part 2. The science behind semen retention. For those who remain skeptical about the true potential of semen retention, we will elaborate on this using several points to showcase how detrimental frequent masturbation can be. Number 1. Frequent masturbation desensitizes dopamine receptors. For those of us who frequently masturbate, it can eventually desensitize the dopamine receptors in our brain, essentially affecting our ability to feel pleasure. In turn, this has a damaging effect on our overall levels of motivation in daily life. According to scientists, this can lead to a form of anhedonia, which researchers define as the inability to feel pleasure. Number 2. Ejaculation lowers testosterone. All men should be aware of how vital healthy testosterone levels are in the modern era. They help maintain bone mass, strength, and muscle mass, signal the body to produce new red blood cells, contribute to a sense of well-being, and, in some cases, reduce the risk of disease. Yet several studies have shown that long-term masturbation can negatively affect testosterone levels. Some researchers have been able to show in human experiments that simply abstaining from ejaculating for up to 7 days can increase testosterone levels by up to 145%. When we take into consideration all of the vital processes in our body that require adequate testosterone levels, we can only imagine how beneficial such an increase could be in men. Our energy levels would skyrocket, mental clarity would help us remain focused on tasks, and our overall drive to achieve our goals would be intensified. Number 3. Increased androgen receptors in the brain. Scientists have been able to show that men who partake in some form of semen retention can actually increase the androgen receptors in their brains. What this means is your body will become increasingly more responsive to the testosterone in your body. Essentially, your life force becomes even more potent the longer you refrain from ejaculating to some degree and amplify the positive effects this vital hormone has on us. Number 4. Excessive ejaculation is changing how men see the world. In the modern era, doctors and scientists are becoming increasingly worried about the rising level of erectile dysfunction evident among younger men due to porn addictions. As men watch excessive amounts of porn, their brains begin to respond to the pixels on the screen as opposed to real people. In this manner, many begin to struggle to perform with their partners or wives due to this rewiring of the neurotransmitters. But this problem goes well beyond our sex lives. It's also changing how our brains process pleasure and rewards, which some scientists fear could inhibit us from forming deep and meaningful connections with humans. Part 3. Raising consciousness and reaching enlightenment through semen retention. While all of the previously mentioned points clearly showcase why semen retention can be utilized as a superpower by men, it's only a tiny fraction of its overall capabilities. Once we begin to move beyond the physical realm, the practice also offers various beneficial aspects to our spiritual well-being. When we look at the tantric traditions of India and Asia, we see that sexual energy is considered a conduit that can be utilized to train a higher state of consciousness. In this way, we can see the spiritual importance of using this energy not only for the minor pleasure we can receive from it, but also as a conduit to connect with our higher selves. It's the fuel that can kickstart the awakening of our Kundalini energy. But instead of applying yourself to the practice of semen retention, you're essentially pouring this energy out each time you masturbate. According to the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, an ancient text comprising more than 100 meditation techniques, one particular section is of the utmost importance as it speaks about how we may use sexual energy to help with a spiritual awakening. The section reads, "At the start of sexual union, keep attention on the fire in the beginning and, so continuing, avoid the members in the end." In simplistic terms, this short passage focuses on maintaining awareness and instructs us on how to utilize the flow of sexual energy that is within each of us, as opposed to losing it during masturbation. You see, this entire video is about mastering the sexual energy that's contained within and channeling it so that it may positively influence other aspects of our existence. By doing so, we can find purpose in life, build strong connections, and transcend the boundaries of the physical realm. By practicing the art of semen retention, we essentially stop wasting the vital energy needed for spiritual growth. Scientists are now beginning to realize what the ancient masters always knew. Our sexual energy can be used for more than just reproduction. It is one of the most potent creative forces in the universe. By opening the flow of this powerful force within, we can reach unprecedented heights, which will lead us to enlightening insights that can profoundly affect our lives. To truly grasp this concept, we must realize that semen retention is not about repression. The core of the practice is centered on utilization by way of mastering the sexual energy contained within. By conserving this sacred source of masculine energy, we can tap into an unprecedented fountain of potential power and increase our levels of creativity, vitality, and spiritual abilities. We can then begin to channel the light within to serve our highest self and the greater good by coming to know our purpose on Earth, or what the Hindus of India call our Swadharma. The latter phrase is made up of the words sva, which means proper, and dharma, which means law or duty. Swadharma is the natural instinct that guides people to act without thinking and is based on their nature, character, and spiritual temperament. Through utilizing the power of semen retention, we can unlock the doors of enlightenment and raise our consciousness, resulting in a truly authentic life. For those who aim to engage in the practice, first begin with small, manageable steps or goals, which can easily be incorporated into your daily life. From here, you can gradually increase the duration and intensity of the practice, whether that be the length of time you meditate or the style of mantras used. As we slowly ease into the art of semen retention, approach the doors with a sense of experimentation and curiosity, as this practice is unique to each individual, and the truest form of growth comes to those who remain committed during times of hardship. Refrain from the desire for perfection and simply focus on what you can accomplish each day. As you continue to cultivate the true essence of your masculine energy by following the path of semen retention, you will begin to send out powerful vibrations into the world, positively influencing the lives of others. This is because the practice is not simply for the benefit of the individual, but works in a manner that helps contribute to the overall growth of consciousness across the globe. It all begins with a few simple decisions. So let us ask you this. Do you have what it takes to take the reins of your own life and preserve and transmute your sexual energy for the benefit of not only your physical and spiritual well-being, but also that of your brothers and sisters around the world?